Welcome.
One sun, funny lights, a convoy appears, a column. One sun, funny lights, a convoy appears, a column of vehicles pressing through thin fields. Like a limitless horde of lemmings, their mission relentless, their hope long gone. Their mission is insane. They lean on their electronic shield. It protects them from the drones they fear. But a javelin pierces the heart of the brave God. A javelin pierces the heart of those they fear. But a javelin pierces the heart. On your northern march forward, convoy, continue to run. Oh, javelin! The javelin strikes, breaks the flow. The convoy halts, turrets burn and glow. In the shock, their dreams take flight as they bid farewell to the faded lives. Oh, brave convoy, your journey ends here. As we remember your spirit crystal clear. In the thin fields where your dreams die, your legacy soars, reaching the sky. What's catching day?
Welcome to the perpetual show where the loaves go.
Okay, we're here, alive. Hello, everybody. I'm here with Kick, and we have Dirk.
Hello. Oh, no, I talked over you, but we have Dirk.
We have Dirk. It's a first.
Hi,
Hello.
Dirk.
Alright, so, yeah, so how's it going? Oh, I guess we'll talk about that in a little while. How's it going? We have news. There's been news. To me personally, the thing that sticks out the most in my head is this this post that came out yesterday from the Ukrainian State Emergency Service. That was basically a call for money to buy prosthetic limbs for children, basically. Which was just horribly depressing to read. When I was going through the news for yesterday, last night, like, it was all like the standard news of like, this place gets shelled and that place got hit by a missile. And then there was this article, and there was like lots of photographs, and it was just incredibly depressing. So this is like the thing that sticks out the most to me, is just all the children who are like losing limbs because of mostly because of mines, but also artillery and stuff. So yeah,
That's the way to open the stream, Andrew.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that out there, because most people, they only listen to a few minutes, and I really think this is like the most important thing. So I wanted to get it out there for the people who have a short attention span. Now, I'm not saying you should give to the charity that they listed, because I honestly don't like that charity. But it's just the knowledge that there are tons of children in that position is depressing. The charity they're talking about is UNICEF, which I personally don't not a big fan of UNICEF. I know there's been people who they want to donate to them without going through UNICEF, and today I tweeted about it, and I was kind of hoping that somebody somewhere would know a better charity for this than UNICEF, because I'm sure there is one. There's probably Ukrainian specific charities that deal with prosthetics, but I just don't know what they are. I mean, we've read a little bit about prosthetics being manufactured in Ukraine, and I've seen interviews with like CEOs of companies, and I've seen videos where they toured the production facilities. But I don't know any specific charity that's giving prosthetics to children. So anyways, that's how I'm opening the stream. How you doing, Gik?
Well, another day. I've managed to reach another day.
You sure have.
It's not always easy to plan ahead more than one day in the basement here.
Yeah. At least it's been a little damp lately, and that's allowing some water to drip through the ceiling into your bucket. So at least you have that.
Yeah. I'm very happy now. Yeah, you can hear it in my voice. I'm very happy.
Yeah. So
to be fair, I'm German, so you wouldn't recognize any difference in me speaking happily and me speaking, seriously.
Sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any particular news item you'd like to start with?
Oh, I did have something earlier, but let's maybe start with my video of the week, okay. Which you can show. But so today, Moscow Hunters and also Sternenko through Shadow Drone Group, they released a video of a FPV drone, which was targeting a Russian Desert Cross, or as we say, golf cart. And just basically before reaching its target, that golf cart ran on a mine and exploded, and it threw things which were on the golf cart before, things like organic things. It was throwing them at the FPV drone. So you could say that Russia, in that instance, successfully intercepted an FPV drone with an air defense organic material. And I thought that was really, innovative,
Yeah, it was certainly one way to use your air defense. So, how like people have joked a lot about Russians putting reactive armor on soft-bodied vehicles, like putting reactive armor on like a loaf, for example. And it's funny because if you activated the reactive armor is like a bomb, right? And it would blow up the loaf. Like reactive armor works on a tank because the explosive isn't enough to penetrate the armor, but it's enough to slow down the incoming projectile. But loafs are made of sheet metal and not armor. So it's kind of like that, So if you had reactive armor on your loaf, it would kind of look like what happened to their Desert Cross. I mean, maybe this was some sort of close-in anti-drone system that they just didn't fully think through.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, the FPV drone didn't reach its target. I count that as a success.
Yep. It did not reach its target. We had another FPV drone video, one that I can actually show in the stream, that I found pretty interesting. Let me show it. There we go. And this is a Russian drone tracking a Ukrainian helicopter.
I think it's actually 2 helicopters.
Yeah, there are
But
two.
it's too slow.
Yeah, it's a little too slow. The FPVs are too slow. Well, I mean, yeah, they might be like roughly the same speed, and that's the issue. you need to be faster to catch up, right? But yeah, the helicopters, they survive, and then the drone, it crashes into a bubble. Right?
Yep.
It's about to
It
crash
disappears.
it's about to hit a bubble.
Did you, like, I didn't yet try to geolocate it, but did you?
No, I mean, I think it wouldn't be that hard, but I did not try. No.
Because, I mean, obviously this, I would have assumed that this is the Dnipro, but it doesn't look like it because of the foresty area.
Yeah.
Let's have Dirk geolocate. People need to know that Dirk he's the first time now on the stream, but he's been doing a lot of hard work lately, and he's absolutely fabulous at geolocating stuff. Particularly, like in the beginning, what we noticed is that if we marked a video with hard to find, it would be the first one he would look at, and he would find it for some reason. he might have additional resources.
This material in the water. I wonder, could it be like one of these places? Like one of them?
I didn't see a secondary stream there.
Like, but like, I don't know. Because these areas, they have the forest. I don't mean like literally this, but they all look roughly the same. But they have the forest and the river and the openness on one side. Maybe they just like lofted.
Oh, you know what I think?
River.
I think it's further towards the island area, maybe. If you go even further, then you will see a lot of forest and not interrupted by towns. And I mean even further towards the Black Sea.
Oh, towards the Black Sea. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where a lot of the foresty close to river thingy without houses is.
Yeah. One thing that I noticed looking at some satellite imagery yesterday is that a lot of these little islands that appeared when the river went away, when the reservoir went away, they're all like underwater now. It's like the reservoir is like, I'm not gonna say deep because I think it's like a meter, but it's a little fuller than it was. That's cool. Thank you, Luis.
Yeah. Do you think that's connected to what happened to the other dams?
I do not think so, because they were releasing a lot of stuff earlier in the spring or late winter or whatever, that water was flowing through these dams up here. And it was before Russia started messing with them. So I think it's probably just melting snow, I think.
I mean, I haven't seen snow for ages.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how far up does the Dnipro River go? Isn't it like go like towards Moscow? I don't actually know where it starts. It goes up pretty far, so there's probably snow up there somewhere. Or at least there was a few weeks ago.
It's kind of embarrassing to think that we can name, I don't know, 1 million or separate 1 million different Novomikhailivkas, but we can't. Like, we don't know where the river its origin.
Yeah.
but I'm tracking it right now, I think.
Yeah, I think like a whole bunch of rivers combine into it too.
Oh yeah, it's very far up north.
No.
Oh, Dirk found it, I think. He found the helicopter.
Where is it?
Oh, he posted it in Discord. Oh. Huh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Here, yeah. Yep. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's roughly what I was expecting. Yeah, just like lofting rockets over the river. Right. So there's a thing yesterday that caught the internet by storm, and it consisted of Urals clad in armor, YOLOing towards the trench. Why? Why did this happen? Why were there so many Urals clad in armor? Is this like their new weapon now?
Yeah. So I think there was speculation which I thought really interesting. There was speculation that the Russian units in that area lost more than they reported, and reported more gains than they have. And now they're basically trying to, do whatever they can, but, not report on their loss. So they are trying to be innovative to make the gains needed to justify the losses they have. And that's why we potentially now see Urals in assault mode.
In assault Ural. So this kind of segues into some stats that we have. So I right before the stream I went through and I gathered some statistics, and I kind of want to start with the boring one first. So here's a
We can see it yet in case you're
no, I
showing.
know I was deciding which one to show first. This one is one. This is the boring one, I think. Oh wait, I clicked the wrong button. Okay, make it bigger. Make it bigger. Okay, so this is like the past 11 days. So this is April. And the column that I find the most interesting is destroyed. So we have 341 objects destroyed, of which 47 are civilian. So those kind of, we can discount them for this. So what's really interesting to me is the 117 infantry fighting vehicles, which seems like a lot. 54 tanks, which also seems like a very large number. 54 tanks. And 19 artillery systems, which, whatever, I don't really know what to make of that. And 22 APCs. So these three are kind of the big ones that I'm interested in. And then I also made this chart, which I'll pre-make bigger, so it doesn't. Okay.
Before you switch to or unless, do you need to show the other one right away? Because if not, I'd like to discuss this real quick.
Okay, you can discuss this real quick.
Okay, so one thing I noticed is that ATVs are missing, so there are no golf carts on here, which is making this entire statistic. I don't trust it anymore now, unless you put them in civilian or something.
They're not.
Okay, see, that's what I thought. So yeah, ATVs need to be there. All the battle golf carts need to be there. You see, they're using them as AD now.
Yeah, I mean there are roughly 100 of them. Not in the past 11 days, but in the past like 2 months, there's like 100 golf carts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and with regards to artillery, there was something which we learned, and I'm not sure if you want to talk about that, which I found really interesting. With regards to reporting artillery hits.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
So it was stated that Ukraine is not publishing, or that the units don't get to publish all of the artillery kills.
Oh yeah.
And do you know the reason why that is?
I don't know the reason why. I have talked about it on a few streams though, but I don't know of a reason. No.
Okay. Because that is something I find really interesting. Like, why do you try to keep under OPSEC how many artillery systems you kill? Sounds weird to me. But yeah, this is something to keep in mind when looking at this number.
From what I understand, Ukraine does not want any of their artillery things published except under certain circumstances. So like they don't want to publish anything where their artillery destroys something. And there are some exceptions, but those exceptions are actually really small. Like I was going through our stats yesterday, and over the past 4 months, we have 0 tanks destroyed by Ukrainian artillery confirmed, which seems very tiny.
Yeah, since yesterday we do have 1 BMP confirmed destroyed by artillery, or at least likely artillery. Even though, and this is also something interesting, the unit publishing that video, they just called it artillery working. They didn't even, either like the one posting, the admin of the channel, didn't know it was a BMP, or they were trying to obscure it.
Yeah. So they just don't want to show their artillery doing anything. Ukraine wants you to believe that every weapon they use is an FPV drone. That's what they want you to think.
Or maybe they are trolling us because they know we need to watch it all.
Painstakingly break through everything. And you'll notice, even the artillery units that destroy things, they never show the destruction. They might show the aftermath. They might show like a burning vehicle, and very often they will pick like the worst like segment of a video to upload so that it's like shaky and blurry and you can't see anything, or they'll upload a still image that's incredibly bad quality, and it's because they're not allowed to show the actual video. They have the video, they're just not allowed to show it. But
all right,
here's the other chart that I find funny. Is that we were talking, I don't know, like, well, when was that, like 2 weeks ago or something? I don't even remember what it was, but about how infantry fighting vehicles were on the upswing. They've now reached 9 per day. 9 BMPs per day. That's absurd.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when we talk 9 per day, what we often see is that they do have one huge assault and they lose, I don't know, something like 15. And then we find them over the course of the next couple of days or weeks.
Yeah. But this is only destroyed. This isn't even abandoned or, disabled, or this is just destroyed.
Yeah,
it's absurd. It's absurd. Okay, so I was curious. I did out the math, and if Russia restarted the war today, right? If they restarted from scratch with all of their vehicles, 100%, right? They could sustain these losses for 3 years. But obviously, the war did not start today. It started 2 years ago. I'm not sure how many vehicles they have left, but it's probably less than half. And at this rate, I just don't know like it's completely unsustainable. They can't do this for very long. And I think this might be why we're seeing battle heroes riding in the battle with their arbor. Their arbor is a chain link fence.
Yeah. I think it's quite evident right now that they are really throwing everything into making gains, trying to reach some point where they can probably freeze the conflict and, I don't know, reconstitute.
Yeah, well, I guess that might be their plan.
And the worst part is, looking at Western politics right now and the elections, how they are going. It might not be the worst gamble for them.
Well, there are other things going on, and again, I'm not an economist, so I don't really want to get into the economics very much. But some of the stats coming out from the Russian central bank, their stats are terrifying for Russia, like really horrible. I believe she said that they need 5 million skilled laborers immediately. Like they need an injection of 5 million to stabilize the economy, and they need at least 1.5 million additional skilled laborers over the next few months to just keep up with current demand for domestic products. So, where are they going to get 5 million skilled laborers?
See, and this is where Ukraine is trying to help by, reducing the amount of refineries which Russia needs to operate. They hope that they can help Russia by, getting all of the workers from those refineries into something else, just to help. So Western politicians against all those kind of strikes, I guess, think about that. It's all trying to help.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it. Oh man, but this is why like Russia is having a genuine problem with doing a mobilization, because they need 5 million more workers to like prop up their economy. That would be to like stop the bleeding with 5 million, but they need 1.5 million immediately. And they've been doing things like training children to become skilled laborers, and things like that, which is weird. It's like, hey, 12-year-old, here, run this factory. Oh man, good luck. But it's just things like that. Russia has a lot of problems, like very serious systemic problems that they have no solution to. You hear a lot of comments coming from Russian media where they talk about how they bring in Central Asian migrants into Russia, and those Central Asian migrants can do unskilled labor, but they can't do skilled labor for the most part. I mean, you could train them, but they can't by default. Like, they're not trained already. So it is all a really big problem. It's a huge, enormous problem that Russia is facing. And I don't think you can bank on Russia doing a mobilization. Like, they could mobilize those unskilled laborers, but then they'll have an unskilled labor shortage in addition to their skilled labor shortage. So it's all a big problem that they have. But anyways, losing 9 BMPs per day, not great, Bob. Is there another chart? I can't remember. Oh, we have the tank stats. The tank stats aren't that interesting, but I made a chart, so here. This isn't the tank stats. Where's the tank stat? That's just the same chart again. I think I made the same chart twice. Whatever, I don't care. The tank stats don't matter. It just shows that I can't remember what they show, to be honest, because I cared so little. Anyways, those are the charts.
Did you, with regards to the tank stats, did you read the I don't know how to pronounce it, but probably with Shun and the I think Resurgam study?
No.
Okay. So they did update the amount of tanks at Russian bases up for either restoration or modernization. I'm sorry, I think I lost track there. Anyway, they did get satellite images of those bases and counted the tanks at those bases to see how much they have, and then compared it with the amount of losses they currently do have per month and the production rates and so on. And they currently estimate that they can produce something between, I think, 90 to 100 tanks, and that is new ones as well as restored or modernized ones. And the rate of losses is something also in the same ballpark per month, I think. What do you have per month? In total? Oh,
well,
you have it.
It's one sec.
But I can see something like 2, 1, and 1 again. So 4 per day, roughly. Is that summed up? 4 per day times 30. Yeah. So they would be currently exceeding that. But anyway, if the amount of destroyed tanks is in the same ballpark, and also with estimating the decreasing efficiency when it comes to restoring tanks, because obviously you would take the better tanks first because they're restored easier and faster, and then you would continue and tanks would get worse and worse with the time you need to do it, right? So they did try to project that, and they did basically give an estimate for at what time Russia would likely be having serious issues with sustaining any sort of tank force in Ukraine. And their moderate estimate was 18 to 24 months currently. That is, however, given, they were counting very conservatively. So if a tank looked okay, they definitely counted it as okay and restorable. They didn't, of course, satellite image is not always good enough to see in detail, how bad the state of a tank is. So if it was dubious, they would count it as a valid tank. But anyway, given the conservative values, the estimate on the moderate scenario, basically continuing as is right now, is 80 to 24 months.
And that is to what did they define as a having problems?
They define it as people or tank crews will be without tanks.
Okay.
So you break a tank and the tank crew is useless because they can't sit in anything else other than a battle Ural, even though I assume Urals will be running out as well at some point.
Yeah, probably. Well, it depends on how many you send them. May you send into battle.
Yeah, I mean, recently I feel like we've seen a lot of trucks.
We have seen a lot of trucks. I've been making a table while we've been dogging. Okay, my table's ready.
And with trucks, it's also important to note that we often. Oh, okay, still tank table. I thought it's a truck table.
No, this is a tank table. So this is how many they've lost, losing per month. This is destroyed only, confirmed destroyed. So yeah, if they can make 100 per month, I don't think they can actually make 100 per month. But anyways, then they would be around there, I guess.
Yeah. And in terms of, how much they can make, I think their estimate was they can produce 14 new tanks per month. If I remember correctly. I don't have it in front of me, unfortunately, but...
The thing is that the more they remove from storage, like the faster they can remove them, the better it is for Ukraine. Because the tanks aren't actually changing the battlefield that much. Like if they increase, if they had like 30% more tanks, I'm not sure they would capture 30% more land. You know what I mean? Like, but it would reduce how long they can fight the war by 30%. So,
yeah, I think one thing that is interesting is that what they noted is that that there's basically a traffic jam in front of restoration bases. So what this tells us is that the rate of modernization or restoration of old tanks is basically at its capacity, and their estimate was that there's currently no way to increase that rate because they don't have the factories, they don't have the equipment to build new factories needed, or it's too expensive to get it. So that was really interesting.
I got your truck stats.
Yeah. And one thing which is, oh wow, I didn't know there's a ruler. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
it's a protractor too.
One thing interesting about the truck stats is that often when we see a truck damage, it's by an FPV drone, and often or very often, like the stream or the video material, of course, cuts once the truck is hit. So there's no active BDA. And while a lot of those hits certainly result in simply a damaged truck, which, damage could be minor, a lot of those as well, given the nature of a truck being not too well armored, could be ending in a burning truck. So they could be very well be destroyed. It's just that we don't know.
Even, and Ukraine, there's kind of like 3 types of hits on trucks. There's one type of hit, they hit the back of the truck. And I think what they're trying to do is set the cargo on fire. And that's kind of hit or miss. I think if they set the cargo on fire, the truck will burn down. But if they don't set the cargo on fire, I think it's like no damage. Because the back of the truck is made out of like planks of wood. You could just like throw a new plank of wood on top and it's like no damage, right? So that's one type of hit. Another type of hit is when they hit the engine. And I think when you hit the engine, there's a pretty good chance you're going to break the engine. I'm not sure how many engines Russia has. And then the third type of hit is when they hit the cabin and they try to hit the driver.
There's a 4th type of hit now.
Okay.
Do you know which one I mean?
Hitting the gas tank. I've seen them try to hit the gas tank.
No. Well, actually, I've seen them hitting the gas tank a couple of times very successfully. But the 4th kind of hit that I meant was the hedgehogs.
Oh, yeah.
You could actually show that video. I think it's probably posted on Discord. I think it was there. So anyway, what Magyar started, I guess he started it. At least the first videos come from him, and also the first reports from the Russian side were from the Krinky area. Is drones that throw a lot of hedgehogs on the road, and just waiting for the next wheeled vehicle to pass by. And it's working.
Yeah. It takes truck out of action. It's a pain in the butt to fix, too.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't destroy the truck. Well, I mean, I guess it could. Because it could destroy a truck. If the truck crashed. But here it is. Just dropping hedgehogs.
Ultimately, what you want to do is you want to terrorize logistics, right?
Yep. And then there's the
aftermath video, which is from the Russian side, which is already, I think, like 2 months old or something.
Yeah, this is quite old.
Yeah. And they were complaining about that back then. we never had the Magyar video to prove it.
These caltrops, they are they'll ruin your truck. No, it's tires anyway. It'll ruin your day. And the rims too. Takes out the rims and the tire. Yeah, and I guess there's some chance you could flip the truck or crash into a ditch or whatever when you some of your tires just suddenly explode at high speed. So yeah, these things cost like nothing to make. they're just made out of scrap metal and welded together, and can cost thousands of dollars of tire damage at a time. So
yeah, and if you're lucky, you get a Brem or something. I don't know what they would use to pull trucks, away.
I think you could use like almost anything to pull a truck out. You could use, I think you can use like a BMP, a tank, whatever,
Yeah.
an MTLB.
So yeah, if you're lucky, you will see, you will get a hit on some kind of engineering equipment.
Man, we've seen a lot of nighttime attacks too on these trucks. The other day we had a where am I? I'm lost. Like
Was it Ronin, the 65th video in
I'm
Zaporizhia?
lost. Where am I? Okay, here I am. This video.
Okay.
They're hitting these Urals with night vision drones. This was amusing because every truck they hit, the driver would bail immediately. They just jump out and run away. And they took out a few of them. They took out a Kamaz. They took out a loaf.
Wait, isn't that a loaf?
One, yeah. This is okay. So that's a story I don't feel like getting into. But yes, there was a loaf. On here, it's labeled a Kamaz, but on the map I updated is called a loaf. But there was a Kamaz too, so that's what confused me the first time. So yeah, this was all a whole big thing, and then there was also a BTR over there, which is on the the updated. I updated it all for our losses, but I didn't update it for the general map. So
Okay.
yeah, these nighttime strikes are a nuisance for sure, and also this road here has been a nightmare for the Russians. They've been losing. Just this is a loaf right there is a loaf, and you can't really see it, but it's there, and this is a loaf that burst into flames mysteriously, and there's a Kamaz, and yesterday there was more. There was a desert cross right there under the tree, and another desert cross, and a Ural tanker, and another Kamaz, and another Kamaz. So this whole road has been a nightmare for Russians. There's also next to this Kamaz, like right in front of it, is a destroyed loaf, and right behind it is a destroyed BMP-1. And then like over here, there's a BMP-2 and a tank. And I think over here is another loaf, and like there's another truck. So this whole road is just destroyed vehicles.
Yeah, and the footage of them zooming out from that road, it tells you why, because it's on a slope. It's so easy to see.
Yeah, it's all bad. All bad for them. I'm trying to remember what day that nighttime strike was. Was it this day? There's
What kind of nighttime strike?
It was that one where it was like 10 minutes of radio intercepts. Oh, it's this one. This was an interesting video. It's hard to watch if you don't speak Russian, which I don't. So that makes it hard to watch. But there is text of everything they say, written in Russian, which I also can't read. But I got through it. It took me like 10 minutes to watch a 5-minute video. But whatever. But it was interesting. It was interesting because they drove a Ural up. The Ural was full of ammo, and as they were unloading it, Ukraine fired artillery at them. The first shell missed. The second shell lit the ammo on fire. So you had like this big ammo fire with a Ural on one side and an artillery piece on the other. I think the artillery piece may have been a Mista B, but I'm not sure. But the that's the Ural. This you can see in this image. You can see the little ants there. Those are the crewmen of the artillery piece. So this is the artillery piece. It's hiding in a bush, and this is the Ural, and this bush is full of ammo. And the artillery shell just lit everything on fire. And the intercepted comms, the intercepted comms depicted the Russians talking about what was happening as it was happening. And they're like, they lit our ammo on fire. And they're like, did you save the truck? And they're like, no, the truck's on fire too. Like, what about the gun? Like, gun's also on fire.
What's that top left? Isn't it a Baba Yaga or something?
I don't know. I honestly, I think this is in the distance. Like far
Because
away.
recently I've been looking at so many videos where I thought, oh yeah, okay, shelling. I will write down shelling, and then somewhere you see some tiny white little thing flying away, and okay, it's another drone.
Yeah. This was definitely artillery. I don't think I can show the video, but if you watch the video, you see a streak of white come in. And the way it came in, it kind of made me think it was like a missile, but I couldn't think of what missile it could be. And then it made me think like maybe it could have been like MRL, but I don't like Ukraine doesn't have any really. Like that's accurate. I mean, they don't hit accurately. So I was like maybe it's an Excalibur. I'm not sure, but it came in. You could see the shell like come in on like this angle, and it all exploded. So yeah, it wasn't a drone for this one. But yeah, the whole video was kind of funny. But yeah, a lot of those drone attacks, it's really hard to tell the difference between a drone and artillery, which don't tell that to CJ because it'll make him feel threatened. Anyways, so Dirk, were there any videos recently that you found interesting? Well, he ponders that.
No, he unmuted.
Oh, okay.
He can speak.
Let me think about it.
Okay. Last night, Dirk located. Where was that? Where am I? I'm lost again. I can't remember.
You're on the wrong day. If it was last night, it was yeah.
Yeah. No, wait. No. Okay. Yeah. What's it? Yeah. Okay. This Nona right here was interesting.
Is that a Nona? That looks like a Mista.
No, that's a Mista. Where am I? I'm so confused right now. I swear to God, did I like not map it? Maybe I didn't.
You wrote Nona. I think you were too tired. Look, you.
No.
It might be the wrong screenshot.
Yeah, I think it was the right. No. Okay, that's possible. That is possible. Okay, I just want to show the video. I'm not gonna actually show the video, but this Nona. I don't know how I screwed that up, to be honest. Anyway, this Nona. See, this was really interesting to me because I saw this and I immediately thought it was a Nona, and there was no reason for me to think that. So I wanted to find justification for why it had to be a Nona. The front is obviously a BMD2 chassis. Now, there's a lot of vehicles that are on a BMD2 chassis, including the Nona, but also a BMD2 and a BTRD. So you could look at this and think it's a BTRD, but our friend here, he geolocated it, and this is the actual geolocation that I apparently screwed up somehow, and it's right here. It's in perfect Nona range, because a Nona is approximately 10-kilometer range, and if you put a little 10-kilometer circle right there, it gets you right to the front. Look at that Nona. I thought that was interesting. Furthermore, there was this this random Russian over here. That was just he's had a bad day. Just the dude is like chilling out like 10, 12 kilometers behind the front line. And just for no reason, an FPV drone lands on his face. Oh man. Just,
Yeah, that's bad luck.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that video is from Muramasa, and I've seen them do deep strikes in that area a lot.
It's kind of their specialty, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, I really love their videos when they come out. Unfortunately, they typically come out very late, and you know, with the workload, it typically means I have to forego them. But yeah.
Yep. Dirk found that pretty fast, though.
Yeah, he's not human.
I had no clue where to look. I was like, man, this lake could be anywhere. And Dirk's like, right there.
I mean, to be fair, if you know them, you know where they operate, so that limits the area. And we've seen them strike exactly that area so many times. Like there's one logistics route between, I think it was Vasilievka and Kruta Balka. And they've been absolutely harvesting trucks on that route. And not only trucks, there were some armored vehicles as well. But so this is really exactly where they like to strike.
Okay. So we have some questions that I've been neglecting because I was looking at charts and stuff, and then looking at the chat. So we have some questions. Is this gray area in Robotyne actually a gray area? And the answer is yes. The Russians have gone through this part that's blue is supposed to be yellow. It messed it up. Anyway, so we've had Russians in this area for quite a while. We've been have loads of assaults, etc. that they've been penetrating into the town. They've been throwing everything they got into the town. Ukraine no longer controls Robotyne. They do control the area around Robotyne for the most part, and like kind of the outskirts on the east. And keep in mind that this here is the main road into Robotyne that Ukraine uses. Ain't nobody uses that road no more. That road's not the road you want to be on. But this road here is their main supply road, and this is really their only supply road. There's this tree line can supply, but it's not great. And those tree lines are pointless because you may as well just use this one because they all have to use the same road at the end. This one's too dangerous. So yeah, there's basically one road into Robotyne. Ukraine controls that. This tree line here is still in Ukrainian control, from what I can tell, but all of the fields around it are not. And I am not sure if Ukraine is going to be able to control that tree line for very long. Either they're going to have to push up and retake Robotyne, this road, or they're probably eventually going to lose that tree line.
Yeah. And I think what we observe a lot is that Russia is really YOLOing into Robotyne. You know, the last time we saw the video of one BTR just rushing through the field and into Robotyne, getting destroyed there, infantry jumps out. And I feel like, you know, the Russian tactic is that they pick, I don't know, random 10 guys they don't like. They put them on top of some vehicle, sometimes Urals, sometimes BTRs. They send them there and, you know, they just hope they survive and, you know, get to sit there. But most of the times, one day later, you would find that Ukraine basically went into Robotyne, and I purposely said went into Robotyne to clear out wherever the Russians had been. I don't think Ukraine is maintaining positions in Robotyne, even though we see like the trenches to the south as an example, where those Russian vehicles typically pass. They still get hit by drones. Could be old videos, but it's really confusing. Like, I mean, you can see the blue drone symbol here right next to the red drone symbol. So it's really confusing.
I'm gonna fix my no-no. Give me a second. Okay. Enough to export it. All right, Dirk. Would you like to speak, Dirk?
Hi.
Yeah, he likes to put someone on the spot when he needs to kill time.
Yeah, I need to. I need like.
He needs
30
us to
seconds.
discuss. So Dirk,
Put the sick guy on the spot. Yep.
yeah.
Got it.
So Dirk, what was the last video you geolocated in Robotyne?
Me personally, I believe that I located a Spartan video. Well, no, but it was ages ago. I think you might have had me do a Skyforce video where they were hitting the town over and over again.
Oh yeah,
the southern part of the town, but that was a while back.
Yeah, that might be.
That might even be predate my involvement with the map, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Robotyne doesn't even get that much activity lately, at least on in terms of Telegram releases. So you would think that the rumors might not be too far from what is true. That they reported gains, and Imi also when he saw the Battle Urals, Imi immediately talked about Rybar having had their last update on the Robotyne front, like, I don't know, something like 4 weeks back or 5 weeks back, which means, they didn't have anything to report, and they reported a lot of gains back then. So, they're probably just waiting for it to become true.
They often do that. Remember when they did that in Peasky?
Yeah. And by the way, the part which they assaulted on the first day of the Avdiivka offensive, that part is still in Ukrainian hands.
Yep.
This is so funny.
Oh, I figured out which video it was. It was a Russian shelling video from the 26th.
Oh yeah, Sparta. I hate Sparta videos. They're typically ugly.
Oh. Okay, so we have a question. Do you think Ukraine will lose if the US doesn't give them supplies?
Define losing. What is losing? In my opinion, the current state is losing, like, in terms of having parts of the country occupied. That's a loss. So, in my opinion, losing includes anything from the current state to, worse.
Yep. There's another news piece that I forgot to mention this before when we were talking about drones and Baba Yaga. Ukraine is doing this campaign right now to get more drone pilots for their bat drone. So the bat drone is basically like a Baba Yaga. It's a heavy bomber, hexa drone. Can carry, I believe, like 5 or 6 bombs. And I, from what I've heard, I don't really know that much about it, but when I've read, they say that it's designed to be easy to pilot. So a lot of the things that prior drones had that required more experience and knowledge of how to fly, they've I guess wrote software to simplify it. I imagine that's what they did. So this is more of a plug and play drone, more of the drone for the masses. You know what I mean? So they're now trying to recruit an army of pilots to fly these drones. I suspect that they want very large numbers of these drones. So that could be interesting going forward.
I mean, given the Russian fear of Baba Yaga, that sounds like a good thing. And really, I like watching those Baba Yagas drop things. It's incredible. The punch they can pack. It's like, I'm not sure you need CJ's artillery anymore.
These,
on top of that,
these are like basically a Baba Yaga, but cheaper to produce and easier to fly. But otherwise the same thing.
Can you show the first BTR destroyed outside of Klishivka today, or Andriivka, outside of Andriivka? Because this, the northern one, that one. No, sorry, that's the southern one then, but it's the first one in the video. So this is interesting because this is exactly what Baba Yaga does. You see it dropping a TM62 mine here in the path of a BTR. And the BTR finds it. I like the arrow there in case we missed it.
Look here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And by the way, what thing is that on the back of that BTR? Is that added, I don't know, compartment for personnel? Which rides on top?
I wouldn't call it a compartment. I think it's just like a canopy to protect their heads while they sit up there.
Well,
it's like an outdoor dining option for like a restaurant.
It looks so stupid and makes analyzing satellite imagery so much worse.
It does.
Yeah. Like I've noticed in Tonenke, looking like zooming in on a lot of those seemingly tanks, they're actually BTRs. It's just BMPs. It's just that they have cope cage in the center on top.
Yep.
Really.
Yeah, because this is why people ask me like, can you identify vehicles on a satellite? Sort of.
Yeah.
If there's not a thing on top, yes.
Yeah, if you like, in many cases, the turret, like the barrel, is visible of a tank, but sometimes it isn't very evident.
Yeah. So yeah, my favorite Baba Yaga video was up here near Turney. I can't remember exactly where it was anymore. I think it was here. I can't remember. It was a while ago. Maybe it was right here. But anyways, it doesn't really matter. Ukraine set up an ambush with their Baba Yagas. They had a whole bunch of them. It looked like there was like 8 or 12 Baba Yagas all flying like in one spot. And when the Russians marched their infantry up, all the Baba Yagas just dropped all their bombs at the same time and wiped everybody out in like 2 seconds. And just took out an entire platoon of infantry in like 2 seconds. And the Baba Yagas flew home. The end.
Have a nice sleep.
Who needs an artillery? Who needs artillery when you have drones that do that? It's just, they are their own artillery.
Actually, that reminds me, CJ promised to be on the stream. Did he appear on Tuesday?
No. Well, he did promise to be on the stream. He didn't promise to be today.
Yeah. I mean, he needs to work, of course. But yeah, he did promise to appear on stream after he won his little competition.
Yeah. Yeah, we were supposed to have the military social media person of the year, and not here.
A content creator person of the year.
Yeah.
Social media person, I think, is. I don't know if they have a competition for that as well. But yeah.
What's the difference?
I do not ask me.
Yeah. We also the conversation in the chat. I just want to say we call like everything a Baba Yaga. They're not actually all Baba Yagas. We just call them Baba Yagas. Some of them are like vampire drones, and some of them are those bat drones, and some of them are different drones. But we just call everything a Baba Yaga.
I do call Punisher drones. I call them differently, but their success rate is limited so far.
Yeah, and they're also like a totally different type of drone.
Yeah,
they're like a level bomber, whereas all the heavy bombers, like I think the only way to tell them apart is with the UI and the camera, and I don't know actually which uses which UI and which camera. So, even if I can tell the drones apart, I still don't know what they're called. They're just all Baba Yaga to me. Like that video we just showed may not have actually been a Baba Yaga. Maybe that was a vampire. I don't know. I don't care either.
Let's just call them big ass drones.
Baba Yaga is just a fun name. And I also like to know that I'm not the only person who refers to it as Baby Yoda. And I've heard Ukrainians call it Baby Yoda. Because I called it Baby Yoda for like the first 8 months. Okay, so do you want to talk about Ivanivska and Bodanivka and Chasiv Yar?
And Klishivka, I guess. So, yeah, one thing which more or less came true, and I think you mentioned it a couple of times on streams, and it's also more or less confirmed or at least speculated on Ukrainian Telegram. So Russia does not actively pursue any sort of route through Ivanivska. So there is this bridge in the northern part, and this is the last time we saw them, be in Ivanivska and approach it. This bridge, if I remember correctly, it's partly destroyed, so it might not be very usable. And Russia lost a couple of vehicles in front of it. But now, from what I read, Ivanivska is currently not tenable to be in, basically. Once they send infantry in, Ukraine is harvesting them with drones. So it's not a very pleasant place to be.
And Russia does the same.
Yeah.
It's reciprocal. If Ukraine tries to send infantry in, they all get hit by drones.
Yeah. And then what we do have instead is today we got footage of a Russian assault towards the south, so towards Klishivka, on the Klishivka Heights. I only mapped so far the tank which got damaged to at least have a bubble on the map, more or less. So this tank basically ran towards the road there. It shelled a tree line right next to it, and then it turned around. And on the way back, it seems to have gotten hit by an ATGM or something similar. It's like the video cuts at that point, more or less. So it's like 1 second more than what's on the screenshot. It does appear to me that the tank might have gotten demobilized. But as the video cuts, it's hard to say definitely. But anyway, yeah. So there have been talks about attacks on Klishivka. We do have statements from Ukraine that Chasiv Yar, and I know we have a different opinion of what is Chasiv Yar, but Ukraine states that Chasiv Yar is fully under their control or in their hands, that Russia is currently not in Chasiv Yar.
Yep.
And now, I guess it's up for discussion. Is Canal part of Chasiv Yar? Legally, it isn't. Morally, I would say yes. If they talk about Chasiv Yar, it's probably including Canal.
Well, I'll tell you what. The Russians do not consider Canal to be part of Chasiv Yar. No Russian that I read and take seriously. I'm not counting like the idiots who post nonsense, but the people that I actually take seriously, they do not consider Canal to be part of Chasiv Yar. They consider Novia to be Chasiv Yar. So you have to cross the canal, to get to Chasiv Yar. So that they don't consider this to be Chasiv Yar. Now, whether Ukrainians consider Canal to be part of Chasiv Yar is a different story, because that is torn. I have seen some Ukrainians consider it not Chasiv Yar at all, and others say that it is, they call it the outskirts of Chasiv Yar. And other people say that it is actually 100% Chasiv Yar. So the Ukrainians are more divided than the Russians. None of the Russians I take seriously consider it to be Chasiv Yar.
Yeah, and Bodanivka, I honestly don't know. Apparently, I mapped something today. Yep. Did I map something today?
There's a BMP2. And
yeah, those are red bubbles. Yeah, I mapped those. For 1 second I thought those were Russian losses, but yeah, Ukrainian losses, right?
Yeah. I've seen Ukrainians say that Russia has captured the eastern part of the town, up to this main road, not the road, not the other side of the road, but just the eastern part of the road. So that's what I've heard. They captured that, and that the western side of that road is a gray zone, and that Ukraine controls the high ground. That's what I've heard, but we've not seen any actual proof of that, I don't think.
Yeah. And the drone videos I get from that area are typically still Russians destroying every single house in Bodanivka that once existed. And after it's destroyed, they hit it again.
I wonder, would it be worth it to systematically blow up all the basements in every house?
The Ivanevska rumor in Bodanivka again, or?
Yeah, I mean, just in any town, say Canal, say that you right now, you've decided you're gonna lose Canal, not tomorrow, but maybe in a month, I don't know. And would it be worth it to go through every basement and just load it full of anti-tank mines? And you don't have to blow it up today, but when it's time, you just blow up all the basements.
I would prefer to booby trap with that kind of stuff if, I assume civilians are not there anymore, because that's really untenable.
Because I think if you wiped out those basements, how would Russia continue attacking? Because I think this is basically what happened in Pervomaiska. It wasn't a systematic destroying, but all of these houses in the beginning of the town were all completely and utterly demolished. So all these houses were gone up until over here somewhere. And Russia pushed through and pushed Ukraine out of all of them. But they ran out of steam and they couldn't keep attacking. And the reason why is because whenever they wanted to assault, they had to like launch the assault back here and walk all the way up. And by the time they got to the front, they were exhausted and they were getting shelled the whole time and hit by mortars and tanks and stuff. And by the time they got to the front, they had no more steam to keep going and they would just retreat again. So they couldn't maintain the middle part. And it wasn't until they had to like go around and capture this road up here to like bypass that completely demolished area. So, yeah, I just think like that that bought Ukraine like a year of time. Just taking out just all those houses and basements being gone saved them like a year. And it just makes me wonder if you did it in other places, would it give you time? It give you the time you need to build proper defenses where you actually want to defend, you know?
I don't know. I mean, like in Tourney, you had no basements, and it only took them something like 200 vehicles across the fields.
Yeah.
That's a bargain.
Just keep YOLO charging. Keep YOLOing. It'll be fine. Just keep going.
Yeah, but to be fair, the open ground in the south is probably a lot harder than. I mean, here you still have a lot of slopes, a lot of hills, a lot of trees.
Yeah. Yeah, in Prvomaiske, especially this southern part, is it's difficult to move through. It's really hard. Yeah, and we're watching like Russia kind of had a breakthrough in the north because they lost Sevyarna, and when they lost Sevyarna, basically all the defenses kind of collapsed. So even with this breakthrough, they lost like 90 vehicles in like 3 days. So yeah.
And by the way, I still found some which you didn't yet see with your green eyeballs.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there's going to be tons I missed. I've no doubt about that.
What I did find interesting was that the assault west of Tonenke did not only go through Tonenke, but instead what we see is tracks coming from the north. So they did cross basically through the fields between Tonenke and Avdiivka and then cross the stream there.
Like that.
No, a bit further east.
Okay.
Yeah. So this field to the south there, they crossed the stream. So yeah. There's one destroyed vehicle basically right next to the stream, and then the satellite imagery cuts off. Makes me think some of the losses which couldn't yet mapped, but are known already, could be there as well.
Yeah, there's a if I remember right, there's like a Ukrainian vehicle like right here.
Yeah.
I think it was an MRAP of some kind.
That's a bit further west. Yeah, it was running between that tree line and the village.
Okay. That was over here. Oh, whatever.
Might be a different one then.
There are two MRAPs there.
Yeah. Those are further.
Here, I can actually do a thing and show it. Oh boy. Oh, it's there. Okay. Right there. Anyways. Anyway, we talked about on Tuesday. We talked about Prvomaiske being captured, right? I think we did. We talked about that. Russia's still attacking in Tonenka. Gik keeps asking me to buy more images of Tonenka. You really want them?
Yeah, I mean, because like when we did get the image, we didn't expect them to actually reach the next tree line. So the image cuts off where we did kind of expect Ukraine to hold, but they did go through.
I wonder. I really thought these vehicles in the back were Ukrainian losses. Were they Russian losses?
Could be.
Because I didn't include these when I published stuff, because I really thought they were Ukrainian losses. I wanted to focus on this middle field where the Russians were. But maybe those were Russian losses. I believe one was a BMP and the other I couldn't really tell. Yeah, so this tree line is where the image stopped. And we don't have anything to the west of it, and the image stops here, so we don't have anything south. So I guess in theory I could buy like right here.
Yeah. But at the same time, getting those images and working through it costs, like, particularly if we would extend to the south from Tonenke and get the fields of Sivernia and so on, we know how many losses are there, and we know how old some of them are. So this will take a lot of time to figure out. But yeah, Pervomaisky towards Tonenke and a bit further west is what I kind of really want. But I want it all. Like, if I want my personal satellite.
The image that covers this whole area costs $5,400. It was such a beautiful image though. There's like no clouds. Yeah, and now there's two images of this whole area. One goes like to Pervomaiska, so it's like this rectangle here. The other one goes north like this, so we could get the whole north and the whole south and everything in between. But that would cost like $8,000.
Yeah, I mean, the north isn't too interesting yet.
Not yet, no.
I mean, it would be useful to then compare, once Russia, or in case Russia makes it through, to compare, how much was there before and it's more likely Ukrainian. But sooner or later, we will get video footage and we can just match it.
Yeah. We were trolled the other day in Novomykolaievka because this giant, beautiful satellite image came out right here, and it stopped on like right before this tree line. And this tree line over is where all the fighting has been, and it stopped right here, right before the tree line. It's like they knew they knew what we wanted. They're like, you can't have it. We're only imaging over here. Anyways, so one thing that I found interesting and kind of depressing is that Russia has wrapped around Berdichi and is fighting in these fields to the north. That's depressing.
Well, so far we only have seen one BMP, which is YOLOing across the field and running into a mine, and it sends things flying. A lot of things flying.
Yeah, but it all starts with one BMP.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that song, Started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It's like that, but with BMPs. So yeah. Berdichi. One thing of note, though, is that we saw Russians cross this stream, river, whatever this is. Actually, I don't know what it is. But they crossed into Semenivka. They had a bunch of vehicles in Semenivka. They had infantry infesting these buildings. Ukraine was shelling them and hitting them with drones. And we've gotten no news since then. I wonder if Russians are still in Semenivka or if they were kicked out. I wonder, I kind of feel that whatever happened in Semenivka is probably going to happen up here if Ukraine kick them out, I think they'll probably kick them out up here too. But if Russians are still there, then they'll probably still be up there too. So I kind of feel that this whole area is just going to. I think the same fate is going to be basically everywhere. Basically, like it's kind of worrying. I don't know. Do you think they're going to hold this?
The Russians or Ukraine?
Ukraine, or do you think they're going to be pushed back to the next line, wherever that is, like Novopokrovska or whatever?
Well, I do kind of hope that they are basically milking the cow for as long as possible while being on an active retreat. So just, I mean, they did lose, I think, 2 Bradleys outside of Berdichi when they tried to go in. So the area, holding it is quite hard because Russia has a lot of high ground. Yeah, that Bradley and like I think in the video there's at least one more, or there's a later video or something like that of at least one more, and they're still there. At least on satellite image. So
yeah,
it could be.
These are all abandoned. But these two should probably be marked as abandoned because I think they're still there. I think they fell back to like whatever. They're still there. I think they moved like 100 meters and then they're still there.
Yeah, but anyway, I make it as costly as possible for the Russians to advance through those fields. But I don't know, the active defense they're doing, going back into Berdichi to clear it. I'm not always convinced that it's very, sustainable.
No, not anymore. When the Russians were out on the eastern side, you could do it. But now that they control all the way up to the pond, you can't do it anymore. It's kind of game over at that point. You'd have to flank them. You'd have to actually do some sort of assault and not just active defense. And I don't think Ukraine has the resources to do that.
And if they do, they will get ATGM struck from the coke plant and from the hill, from the slag heap. So I'm not sure if it's, it's. Yeah, I think there's currently no perspective for that.
Now the question is, where would they go next? I guess they would go to Novobakhmutivka and Novopokrovska and Novosilka Persha. But one thing of note about Novosilivka Persha is that yesterday Ukraine did this thing where they published an article about the White Angels delivering food and supplies to Novosilivka Persha. It's like 600 kilograms of food and water and whatnot. And they also evacuated some people. They've actually been going through and evacuating tons of people in this general area recently. Krasnohorivka, probably shouldn't show that, the image. Krasnohorivka, they claim has roughly, it has roughly 1,000 people left. They told a story about how a family from another area of Ukraine, they drove to Krasnohorivka to evacuate their family members. And I want to note how extraordinarily dangerous that was. Like driving to the front line, like literally the front line, to evacuate your family members, while they were packing goods into the car. They were in the house and the car was outside. The car was hit directly with artillery and exploded and burned down. None of the family members were wounded though. And the White Angels had to come and rescue them all, basically. So, yeah, the White Angels are going through evacuating people. Krasnohorivka is one. Novosilivka Persha is another one. And I just wanted you to keep in mind all these towns still have people in them. Some of them have hundreds, and some of them have thousands. For some reason.
I think to wrap up the Avdiivka part, one thing which was going around on Ukrainian Telegram and from people who know, so I typically trust them, is that basically today Russia launched another assault out of Tenenke. It's not yet clear like how much equipment was used and how much was lost and how many of them were battle Urals, but yeah, so there might be some more action being released in the next coming days from Tenenke. And sadly, it might be out of our high-res image already.
Yeah. I'll just have to buy another one. Never as clear. Today was not a good day for satellite images. Everything, it's like partly cloudy, which is the worst kind of cloudy. I'd rather it just be normal cloudy because then there's nothing. The partly cloudy is like, if I squint my eyes, I can sort of see something, but and the Ukrainians also reported a rather large assault near. They didn't say where, did they? They just said in the Bakhmut area, and I assume they meant Klashivka.
They did say 15 vehicles, right? Half of them destroyed was the claim.
Yeah.
And the other half retreated. So yeah, we're gonna see it soon, I guess.
Yeah.
There was also some activity around, like on the Andreevka, Kuryumivka area. Maybe the BTR is already part of more or less that wave of assaults. So it could still be that they're trying to cross into Klishivka or Andreevka.
Maybe.
Because they are still losing vehicles there. It's a
amazing.
bit mind-blowing, but keep doing so.
I really want to buy an image of like right here, like right here. And I look literally every day. I look for an image here, and there never is one. I've been looking for like, I don't know, 6 months, and there has not been a single image. Not one.
And we do know that there are so many vehicles there which are not reported or which are not geolocated. Like, I know that there's a T90M between Bakhmut and Klishivka in the Dacha area. Like, I did receive the coordinates from basically from the unit, but it was useless because you couldn't prove it from the footage. So I still don't know where it is. And those coordinates, when converting the Gauss-Kruger coordinates, when converting them, they're typically still a bit off. You know, it depends on what system they did use, what methodology they applied for their Gauss-Kruger coordinates, because you have different zones basically. So I'm still not sure where it is, but it is there somewhere, and it's destroyed. And I wanna know where it is. It's bugging me like for 2 months or 3 months now. So please task a satellite someone, maybe the troll. He gets the area. I don't know.
Oh no, we've had images of right here.
Oh, but that's interesting because there might be some artillery pieces in there.
Yeah, but
yeah, it's like I wouldn't buy it. Because also finding those artillery pieces in the bushes is, howitzers are hard to see.
It's a nightmare. We might have to figure out how to use the multi-band analysis, because we are getting all of the optical bands and near optical. So there are tricks you can do to highlight vegetation, and then the gaps in the vegetation are interesting, right? So those are tricks we're gonna have to get better at. So far, we've not needed to do that because all of our images are from winter, and vegetation's not a big hindrance in winter, but when it gets into full-on spring and summer, those tools might be really handy because we might be able to just spot, like, that's camouflage right there. In this giant tree line, that's a piece of camouflage.
Yeah, but typically, if Russians assault a tree line, it means that they've completely destroyed all the trees there before. So you would still see Russian vehicles, I guess, in the tree lines.
Maybe. But yeah, I believe the near infrared, I think, is what highlights the plants. Anyways, is there anything else you'd like to mention? I'm not really sure.
We should probably talk about Krasnohorivka because that has been getting a lot of action.
Yeah. Krasnohorivka.
So yeah, I mean, we did have this rather large assault to the south, which you talked about on Tuesday. We did get, in the meantime, we did get footage from inside Krasnohorivka. So basically that part which is marked yellow there, there are a bunch of taller houses. What I found very interesting is that Ukraine has been using hammer bombs, so either GBU or ASM. I don't know how to say it, probably ASM, in that area. So first of all, it's interesting to see that they are using airstrikes, and recently there's an increase in that use. We've seen it in, what was it? Oh yeah, Ivaniske. We've seen it in Krinky area, and we've seen it now in Krasnohorivka. After we had not seen much use for months. So yeah, that's very interesting. We do not know the results, I think, out of what happened there. We know they lost one BMP YOLO'd in there for sure. That BMP is still there. It's just looking a lot different in this brownish weird color of metal. Yeah, exactly. I guess it's still greenish. I'm not sure if the infantry survived. At least from the drones picking on infantry around that BMP, it probably equaled the amount of infantry a BMP can carry. Not sure if any of those survived, but it's a development. And I tend to think that once they reached it, more will flood in. It means there is some sort of path into that area, and Russians will exploit it and just squeeze all of their waves of meat into it.
Yeah. They're just gonna pump guys through. Today they did a little assault. Well, the video came out today. They did a little assault. I located one of the BMPs right there. It was abandoned.
Oh, if it's a Moscow Hunter video, it's probably older.
Okay.
They release I don't know. I think it's a Poroshenko Foundation or something like that. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But a lot of their drone videos are older. Like the one in Berdichi, which they released today of the air defense golf cart. That one has one loss missing, which we know should be there. So we know 100% that the video is significantly older. Other things to talk about, S300 could be mentioned, which was ugly.
Yeah, unfortunate. That's losing the S300. Do you know what hit it? Because I don't.
No,
I assume it was a tornado.
It was in Odessa.
Odessa, yeah. I assume it's a tornado.
So here, with regards to the image, or with regards to the BDA, so there was one Twitter post talking about 2 tells destroyed, one out of one not visible after a time. So what we definitely can say is that the purple one is destroyed. We see it detonate on the video, there's an impact, and next to it you can see it cook off. There's one which is the yellow frame here, which is it's not visible on the zoomed in BDA, but it's likely to have received at least damage, because the the missile detonated more or less between the purple and the green radar. The green thingy. Now, I just trusted that this is a radar. I tried to get the opinion of John, but he must have missed it. I'm not 100% sure it really is the radar, because like on satellite image from September, you see some sort of structure there, which it's not striking me immediately as a radar. It could be something else, but you know, here I have to trust that they did the analysis right, because I simply don't know better. With regards to the third launcher, which was mentioned by some people, now the orange part there, it kind of, and I agree, it kind of looks like a launcher, but exactly at that spot there is some sort of dump in front of that building, and this is visible both on Google Maps as well as newer satellite image. Wait, maybe I can send the link of it, or do you want to open the Maxar image?
I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get
Maybe
those.
just open the Maxar image.
Yeah.
And this is exactly at that spot. So I'm like 99% convinced that this is not a tell, and instead it's some sort of building structure, some sort of dump, you know, for the farm. I mean, we have this a lot in Germany on our farms with those kind of area where you put, I don't know what it is. We need exit for that.
I'm opening the Maxar. I just wanted to not show
because I posted a Google image, which of course is a bit older, and then I got yelled at for, oh, but this is a Google image. This is so old. But yeah, you know, it's there too. And this is exactly like those two lines north of the building. That's exactly the spot. And on Google, you see what it is. And you get more shadows. But also, you know, on this Maxar image, you know, there you can zoom in better. So I'm convinced it's simply this structure.
Yep.
And also to the right, you see what is supposedly the radar. There is something already on the Maxar image from, I think, September. Not south of your cursor or of your crosshair, but to the left of your crosshair there. This is what is supposedly the radar, and I'm not sure, but it might be a radar destroyed there or damaged, likely destroyed though. But yeah, it's also interesting to see that on Maxar you already have some S300 there. So it's definitely, it could be that some of them were decoys, but it seems to have been a site used. But the way those S300 are arranged on that image is striking me as strange.
Yep. Not how I would do it.
Yeah. Or maybe the footage is a bit older. That might also be the...
Yeah, I'm not sure how old it is. There's a way to figure it out, but...
Yeah, if you go into the historic ArcGIS, then you can see exactly how old it is.
Okay, so where am I? There we go. So that was the S300. Very interesting. Yeah. Oh, oops. What else?
Today, the Russians published the strike and BDA of the strike on the Motor Sich plant in Zaporizhia.
Yeah.
Which, quite frankly, I'm pretty sure that two of the missiles missed the building. One hit the building. It seems to have done... I'm not sure if it went through the roof. This doesn't look like it went through the roof. This does look like it went between two buildings, so might of course have done a lot of damage, but and this one definitely went in front of the building. So I'm not entirely sure how much damage was done, other than probably harming civilians and whoever was around. But what is annoying is that they do have clear BDA because a drone is flying above Zaporizhia.
So here's the thing. And I have it marked right here. I just put the marker completely at random. But what Ukraine said yesterday is that they had shot down 2 of the missiles and that they crashed uncontrollably, and the third one hit its intended target.
So you think that those 2 which I said missed might have been the ones shot down?
Maybe.
Okay. I mean, that could be. I mean, judging by the footage, they came probably close to the intended target, but...
Yeah, they said they shot them down.
Oh, yeah, and now that reminds me, I wanted to say something about the S300, because I do kind of consider it a given. You know, the S300 battery, once the destruction or its destruction was published, there were a bunch of Ukrainian telegrams knowing this kind of stuff, more or less writing in a cryptic language, because sometimes don't want to say something very directly. But I kind of assume that it's true, and that is that they did detect the drone which was searching for the S300, and they apparently did get the order to not intercept it, because they basically expected a jet to arrive in time to intercept the drone, such that no damage would be done, and they could have saved some ground-to-air defense missile. Well, with the outcome, which is visible, with this destroyed at least one launcher. So there's that.
I just have a comment. We know that Ukraine has electronic warfare that can destroy those drones. We know that. And we know that those pieces cost around $10 million to create a sufficient bubble that the drones can't operate. So if you want to defend a place, it costs about $10 million to defend that place. Now, wouldn't it be cheaper for countries to give Ukraine the $10 million than it would be to, I don't know, build a new Patriot battery from scratch? Isn't it cheaper just to give the EW?
You said it's a comment, so I'm not gonna answer a rhetorical question.
Yeah, it's just something to think about.
Why not do both? Because we do need both.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're gonna give, I don't know, say you're a country and you're donating 12 tanks that cost $10 million each. Wouldn't it be nice to give, like, another 10 million so that those 12 don't instantly blow up the drones? So that they can survive drone attacks? Like, isn't that a good investment? Like, I don't know. Or if you're going to give, some engineering equipment that is like one of a kind, maybe give the EW to protect it too. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe the countries should think this through a little bit more. Yep. There were some other things that happened recently. The power plant in Sumi was hit by multiple airstrikes, causing damage to the power plant. That's worth noting.
The one north of Kiev as well, right?
Yeah.
Or was that Sumi the one which was geolocated?
They hit Kyiv. They hit Kyiv, they hit Sumi, and they hit Kharkiv. So they hit all three. But the one in Sumi is there's like images. Actually, that's not it. This is it. Are there images? Do I have it? No, I don't. Anyway, they hit right there. There were no images.
Yeah, there are images for the other one in Kiev.
Yeah. Anyways, what else is there to say? There are a few other things I probably should talk about, but I can't remember. There were a lot of casualties. There's sappers, more sappers. That's the kid who lost his foot. More sappers. Yeah. I don't know. There was a couple were both very badly damaged, or not damaged, they were wounded in along this river that used to be the front line, if you remember. This was when Russia. Okay, so when Ukraine crossed the river into Davydiv Brid, the Russian response was to lay a giant minefield all along the river. And this couple, they stepped on one of those mines. The husband lost his foot, and the wife suffered, I believe, injuries to her arms. They had traumatic amputation of the leg and shrapnel wounds. I think it's to her arm. But doesn't really matter. Yeah, that's just it's an ongoing problem. It's gonna be a problem for decades.
Yep. Two more items in Mariupol. Ukraine apparently used either a drone or a missile to strike an apparent repair base or deployment point, something like that. You like on a satellite image, you seem to see military trucks at least, and it's on fire. So that seems to be a good thing. However, there wasn't not much talk about that. One thing I found very curious is the strike in Bakhmut. Inside Bakhmut, because they did hit the stadium with two either missiles or GBU or something like that. So this is the stadium, and apparently it was used for some sorts of I don't know, staging or whatever. So this, I'm looking forward to learning more about this. Because from what Cyber Boroshno and Cyber Boroshno is someone, or they are some people who are doing a lot of geolocations of bases and so on, which then, surprisingly vanish the other day. And they claim that they did have something geolocated there. I did not see what it was, so I can't confirm, but it will definitely be interesting to learn more about that. And, when I saw that strike, I had to think of the Española. Do you know the Española battalion?
Yep.
Yeah, so those are those football hooligans or something like that from the Russians, which, I don't know, are kind of ugly. And they've been using stadiums a lot for their propaganda videos. It made me think of that, just saying. I don't know. We will see.
So, we have news. I don't know if this is good news or bad news, Kick, but it's news.
Did you just receive it?
No, I just saw it. Actually, it came out probably 4 hours ago. It's not breaking. I can call it breaking news. It's breaking to me. the petition in the House of Representatives, the discharge petition, now has 195 signatures.
And how many are needed?
218.
Okay.
So it needs another 23.
All right, let's go lobby. I know that all of the senators are watching, right?
Yes. Oh well,
Yeah.
these would be congressmen, not senators. So, but
Oh, sorry.
they're not. Yeah, I mean, do not elevate these people to senators. They
Yeah,
do
please.
not deserve that honor.
Please ignore my ignorance of American weird political systems.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, there's 19 Democrats who refuse to sign the petition because they don't want to give aid to Israel. And that means you need 23 Republicans to sign it. So far, one Republican signed it and then immediately retired.
No,
He was like,
at least he signed it.
yeah, he signed it and then retired. And yeah, obviously the EW, well, EW can stop missiles. It depends on what type of EW and what type of missile. But I'm not talking about using EW to stop the missile. I'm talking about EW to destroy the drone. Because there is EW. Ukraine has EW that can take out drones. And I'm not talking quad drones. I'm talking Orlans and Supercams and Zalas and those sorts of drones. Ukraine can take them out with EW. It's just that the EW, it costs about $10 million to make a bubble. The bubble is, I don't know how big the bubble is, but it's like a few kilometers wide. It's like enough area that you can do something in. Like it's not like you're not protecting like a house. It's like protecting an area big enough that you can actually like operate. Anyways, that's all I got. That's all we have to talk about. Dirk, do you want to say something? You could just say goodbye if you want.
I just want to know if we have any new music,
New?
or are we playing the classics?
Man, do we have any? I can tell you that we don't have any new music. I might have music that we've never played before.
Did you ever play
Oh.
the Exit song?
Unreleased tracks.
I was
Okay.
gonna play that on Tuesday. I was gonna play the
Okay.
Exit song on Tuesday.
That's fair.
I thought I had the Monkey song downloaded. I know it's on Discord, the Monkey song. We have It's Raining Planes.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites.
We could play It's Raining Planes. I think we only played that one time.
Oh, Erlen just said that we shouldn't forget the recruitment ad.
Oh yeah, the recruitment.
Should it be called recruitment when it's actually,
Slavery.
advertisement for slavery? Enslavement ad.
Okay, so I'll just put this on the other browser tab so it actually works right. Okay. So yeah, we have a recruitment. So before now, the recruitment was basically message me, and that was a terrible system. It was a terrible system for a bunch of reasons. The first reason is I don't have that much time to respond to people, so that was one reason. Another reason is because Elmo is very good at the internet. He did this thing where you don't always get all of your messages. You uses an algorithm to decide like which ones he thinks you'll like the most, and shows you that message. So that's made like DMs like pointless because I can't even see my DMs. I can like if like 50 people DM me, I can see like 2 of them, and I can't see the other 48. And then the other those 48 get mad at me and like you're an idiot. You didn't respond. Like I literally can't. Like I didn't get it. For me to see your DM, I'll tell you what to do. I have to go to your like name on Twitter. I have to click your name. I have to click DM and then view DMs. That's the only way I can see your DM. It's blame Elmo. It's not my fault. So that's a terrible system. We have a better system now.
Do you wanna know what happened to me last time I tried to DM someone?
What happened?
Like when I was talking to Aloha from War Spotting and we were correcting some coordinates of the losses, he told me I could just DM him some details. I forgot, and then he could basically give me some sort of access to see some losses which are not yet published because some information is missing or something like that. And I did just that, and my account got immediately locked on Twitter. I don't know why. Like if I send DMs, like if people send me DMs, it's okay. But if I send out a DM, my account gets locked. It doesn't like me.
Because you're a bot.
Yeah.
It knows you're a robot. That's why. So anyways, we have a new system for messaging. We have this little blurb, some text. There's requirements. There's tasks. At the bottom, you can fill out this thing, and it'll go to a group of people, and those people will read it, and they will probably reach out and talk to you. Maybe, likely, I imagine. And there's like a process that you could go through, and there's it's like a vetting process to make sure you're not like a random troll, and then you can help us, and that would be cool. Unfortunately, there has to be a vetting process because of the random trolls, and etc. etc. If you use the internet, you know why. But yeah, this is the thing. So. Dirk,
How do the people find this?
The link is in the description of the video.
Okay.
You can click that. Dirk, how did it feel when you joined? Did you feel overwhelmed? Were you overwhelmed with joy?
Yes. Yes, I was filled with a sense of joy. Certainly.
How was it to join? To start doing things? Was it how was the process? How can we make it better?
I think it's just an iterative process, as you bring more people on, it'll get easier and easier to do. So how many people have you brought on now total?
I guess it depends on how you look at it, like how integrated they are. You and Gick are the most integrated.
Yeah.
And then there are a few others who are much less integrated.
Yeah. And even it's not listed here, but could a geolocator also send a message?
Yes, you can be a geolocator. You can
because it's not there. And
yeah, because this is kind of the lowest common bar. But yeah, we could add a line about geolocation.
Yeah. And one thing, the way I lured Dirk in, basically, we use another platform on Discord to geolocate, which works great because there are a lot of other geolocators, so you can share videos and you can hope that someone takes off some of your work because, of course, we try to track it all, which means that if no one else did it, you need to do it, or at least try to. And one of the ways I was able to lure him in was that he basically, I don't know if he had too much time, but he asked if I could share some more links of open to-dos with him. And that was basically when I had him on the hook, and I said, you know what, I could just like talk to Andrew and give you access to the spreadsheet. And
we have a lot of to-do lists, don't we, Dirk?
Many. Yes, yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so for geolocators, what we're of course trying to do is and I guess that's me to the most part, is I'm also trying to always be up to speed what other people did and collect that information to, you know, reduce what we need to do at the end of the day as well. So if you're interested in, I don't know, helping out or getting a more comprehensive list of, you know, open videos to geolocate, maybe, because I don't know, even if you just want to do 3 or 4 videos, it could be interesting to do this based on a spreadsheet.
Yep. So there are a few different types of things that we need. One type of person that we need is someone to go through the news and pull out all of the things that are like important to the war, like towns getting shelled, missile strikes, Shahed strikes, airstrikes, things of that nature that are important to the war. So that's one type of person, and that is a skill set of its own, because you have to find the sources, which is a skill. Finding the source is a skill, and then going through it and pulling everything out, and preferably mapping it yourself without making me do it. That's all like one type of job that we're looking for. Another type of job is someone who will go through the video and break it down into its substituent clips with timestamps and descriptions. That's one type of job. That's a completely different skill set. I'm not even sure if it is a skill. It's more just busy work, to be honest. And then there's the geolocating on top of it. That is an optional upgrade for the person watching the video. So any of those 3 things are what we really need right now. And once we get those 3 things under control, I'd like to expand out into other arenas of conveying information in various ways. But we have to get this stuff done first.
Yeah. I mean, people need to understand that, I don't know, like there's something like 60,000 or 70,000 lines of information. And that's only since, I don't know, since August or something.
Yeah, and that's just that spreadsheet. There's multiple other spreadsheets.
Yeah, so it would be really, you know, I dreamed of, you know, making some sort of heat maps for, you know, some sort of information with how, you know, heat maps over time with shelling as an example, to see, or to overlay this with the frontal movements, something like that, you know. There's
One sun funny lights, a convoy appears, a column of vehicles pressing through thin fields like a limitless horde of lemmings. Their mission relentless, their hope long gone.
sometimes there are days where I only get to geolocate something like 10 videos, and the rest of the time I'm collecting videos from Telegram and I'm breaking down videos. And yeah, this is, you know, this is kind of a lot.
I think I cut you off there for like 5 seconds. I'm sorry. I clicked the button completely by accident. But I think we got the gist of it. Yes. I did not mean to click that button. I'm sorry. It was an accident. But
So the song covered my crying.
well, I think like 5 seconds of it.
You're trying to silence my crying, so
No,
people people don't know how hard it is in this basement.
What I was trying to do is while you were talking, I was trying to set up the outro music. But in doing so, I started playing the outro music by accident.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I got the message.
But anyways, yes, I agree. There are a lot of things I want to do with the data. There are things I think are very important to do with the data. I think if we did certain things, we could influence the way governments act. And I think that is one of the main purposes. There are really two reasons I wanted to do this project in the first place. The one reason is I wanted a way to raise money for fundraisers. So I wanted to create a product that people enjoyed and came back to, so that when there was a fundraiser that I supported, I could support it and drive money into the fundraiser. So that's one reason I've been doing this. And the other reason is to create action. I really think we played a part in getting money for drones to Ukraine, because I don't really think it was a coincidence that after our work was put into The Economist and other things like that, that the EU and other and more specific European governments started investing more money into FPV drones. I think our research is a reason why. And also, shortly after the research into airstrikes, we started seeing countries supplying more air defenses. Because if you remember, like in September or whatever, I was writing about how there were like thousands of airstrikes that month, and we like plotted a map of all of the airstrikes for a month, and that really opened up the eyes. I know it went to a few governments in Europe where some of the what would they be called, parliamentarians or whatever you call them, they were looking at it and they were shocked by it. They didn't know how bad the situation was, and I think that played a role. And I think with the data that we have, we can continue to do those things, but in order to do that, we need time, and in order to get time, we need more people to share the workload.
Do you want to also mention how it might have already sometimes helped save soldiers' lives who were not aware of a situation?
What do you mean?
I mean, when like some units or some commanders potentially did not report back on territorial losses, and other units in the area were, up until it was geolocated and on stream, were not entirely aware of the situation to their flanks.
Yeah, this has happened more than one time. There was I'm not going to give specifics, but there was a map update that I did. I talked to a friend of mine who is in a unit. They gave me information. I mapped that information, and then shortly thereafter, another unit found out about that. They didn't believe it. They called around and realized it was true, and they were not happy about it. They did not like that was how they learned about the situation. And that has happened more than one time.
Oh, sorry, heavy breathing on air. I thought I was muted.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just think we could do more. We just need more time. And also, like, honestly, I want to do a better job reporting on certain types of stories, like for example, that kid with who lost his foot. I would love to do follow-ups on that. Like, I wish I had the time to do the research and dig up more information and talk about it, but I just don't have that time. And I wish I had more time to do things like geolocate some of these airstrikes that I have photos for, and I look for it for like 5 minutes, and if I can't find it, I just move on. That's like basically how I do it, and I get probably a dozen of those a day, and I wish we could find all of them because I think they're important, but we have so many videos, and finding like random still images is like it's just too much. We just need more people, and I'd like to cover more about like energy infrastructure stuff, but I don't have any expertise in that. But we would need somebody who's willing to like become an expert on that, to follow it very closely, or maybe someone out there is already doing that and could team up with us, but something like that. I just think I want to cover more of the war because I think having it all in one place is value.
Yeah. Large interlude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah. I guess I could play the outro music now.
Right.
Sorry I played it over you before. It really didn't mean to. Well, because I was checking to see if right clicking is different than left clicking. I've learned something, Kick. I've learned that the app does not care. It's like, did you click? You clicked. There's no such thing as left and right.
All right.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna play the outro music. I'm gonna play which song am I gonna play?
1 second. One question. I thought about talking, like I thought about talking about that. What do you think about Q-Confirmed? Q-Confirmed is a great platform. They do collect public or whatever you prove to them basically, or post, and they do have their own volunteer geolocators. They do collect a lot of information, and it's very valuable. I try to post as much as I can also to Geo-confirmed publicly, because none of the information, in my opinion, is proprietary in that sense. So I would like to post more to Geo-confirmed, such that it's really public knowledge. They do have an API, I think, and they do have, of course, a basis to also influence a lot of decision-making centers and so on. So that being said, publicly, a lot of what is geolocated is, assault here, shelling in that area. What we do is we typically try to geolocate each shell landing, which means, if a village is attacked by, 20 shells, publicly, you will probably find a Twitter post about, this village has been shelled with the coordinates of maybe one shell. But what we collect is really then those 20 coordinates, and that gives you potentially 20 different houses and 20 different owners who potentially, have a claim. So, in my opinion, and I fully understand that a lot of people don't do that because, one coordinate can be enough to watch the video again and then do the precision work. But we do the precision work more or less right away. And that's why I do think that we do have more data points. And next to that is that I simply don't have the time to draw a proof every time I geolocate something. because I don't know how many videos or how many data points I create per day. It's impossible for me to put everything on Twitter. So unfortunately, GeoConfirm doesn't have all of the information that I find. I wish they had. So if you join and help us, I might have more time to make sure about that. And they don't collect like the variety of information I would say that we do. With the news context to it and so on. Often, I guess. But anyway, since you asked, GeoConfirmed is great. I think it's very important that they do what they do. And of course, I try to work with them as much as I can to interchange information, because I also, as said earlier, we profit from anyone posting to GeoConfirmed. Often, even if they just geolocated one shell, it will help us find the other 10. So yeah, there's that.
There are two things that Gik dreams about: ongoing access to high res and his own personal proofer who does all of his drawings for him.
Yeah.
Is this correct, Gik?
Yeah, we've been close to that. So a lot of times I post coordinates somewhere on a Discord and just hope someone picks it up and draws it and proves it. And sometimes it works, but not all of the times.
Yeah, you hand out the geolocation. There are other people who they think that their geolocations are like their whole personality, you know? Like they cling onto them and they're like, it's mine. I did it, you know? But you're out here, you just hand them out. They're like, here, have one. You're like, I did 200 today. You can have 5, here's 10 of them.
Yeah, I don't see a point in, keeping that. Yeah, it's open source, right? It's like the video is out there and you just, try to make sure that not everyone has to do the work all over again, I guess. That's one thing. And the other thing is really that my interest is in transparency and making sure this war is documented. And also, helping exactly what I said earlier, that, with reparations and so on, you can potentially influence that a lot with the data points you collected.
Yeah, and the one thing that's not open source are the high res images, but we try to help out other people like by posting more or less the output. We can't post the images, but we could say where things are. We can use the image to locate things and then post that location.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I've been going through Tonenke with war spotting, and we've corrected so many locations or put them into a precise context, and any of that work also helps any future geolocator, because you will, as an example, today there was a destroyed tank in Berdici. That tank was next to a tank which was already known before. But if before the geolocation was an estimate.
Oh yeah, it was.
Then,
we had an estimate and it was wildly wrong, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It was around 100 meters or something like that to the south, where the actual location is now. And people will continue to reference that data point. If it's wrong, it means that any other reference will then also be wrong, of course. So it's important to try and correct those kind of information or data points as early as possible to make sure that all of the following ones are more correct.
Yep. Yeah, those anchors are useful. Yeah, and an anchor doesn't necessarily have to be a destroyed vehicle. It can be like a tree. It can be a hole in the road, like a blast crater. It can be a broken building. There's so many different anchors that you can use, and those the high res it gives you that. We have a high res of Krinky. I think it's like 70 centimeter resolution, and the image is quite old at this point. I think it's I say old because a a lot has changed to the terrain via airstrikes mostly. So the terrain is now a different shape because it all exploded. But even still, I've used that to geolocate so many different videos just by little tiny craters in the ground that you could never normally see on lower res images. But because it's a 70 centimeter, you can see these little tiny craters and line them up and say like, oh, these 5 craters match those 5 craters, so this is the spot, you know? So, yeah, that's really useful, actually. It's just unfortunate that they're so expensive to buy. And in a place like Cranky, it's like especially useful because there's no features. It's just like the ground is just mud. There's like no houses, no roads, no grass, no plants. Right. So, Dirk, did you want to say something?
I heard that Dirk will sing the outro song himself.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Okay, so I'm gonna start the old outro song, stop it, switch it to the plane song, and then play the plane song. So put on your seatbelt, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Have a good weekend. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Ich wimmere sky, it's time for a flight. Russian planes descending with might. Oh, from the heavens above, they're dropping fast. It's raining planes, you better wear a hard half hat. Oh, crying yet as they fall from the sky. Crashing down on the ground they lie. They're Soviet-made, but not so aerodynamic. When it comes to flying, they're quite problematic. Oops. It's raining planes, hallelujah. It's raining planes. Hey, hey. Russian jets are falling, comical and insane. Tall, short, wide of them, they're rained down without regret. It's raining planes, despite safety rations they neglect. That is my flight.
Still too much.